Hello? Mama? Tell me the story of Babaji. It was the same story I asked her for every night. And each night, she was always somewhat reluctant to tell it. But I am going to tell it to you just as she used to tell it. To me. Your greatest of great-grandfathers was a young, handsome man who came from a small village in India, where he was loved and protected. He had a wife and a baby daughter named Ravina. And those around him said he had the heart of a tiger. But that heart yearned for more. So when bad luck struck and his wife passed away, he left in search of adventure. He traveled across northern India all along the Silk Road, bartering with herbs and spices. The plan was to take Ravina all the way to Europe. On his journey, he met Priya. She had eyes like cut sapphires, and her smile shimmered like the surface of the moon. Fell in love. And upon their arrival in Europe, they set up a home, ready to live a long and happy life together. Until one night, Ravina awoke. Scared, she ran to Babaji's room. When she pushed open that door, the room was painted red. She discovered Babaji's head had been torn from his body. His legs, sliced open, hung from the rafters. His ribs were ripped apart like wings of ivory. And his heart, it was nowhere to be found. For Priya was not what she had seemed. Babaji's new love, Priya, was a Vetala. So, my sweet boy, if you do not do as mother says, then a Vetala will come for you too. That's the story. That's the story my mom used to tell me. Right as I was going to sleep. For those of you that don't know, a Vetala is a type of demon. Now all cultures have their demons, I understand that. But a Vetala is not like the rest. It is almost vampiric in nature, and those that have encountered one claim it attaches itself and ingests the blood of mortal beings. So you can understand why each night I asked my mom for the mark of the flower. It's a mark that keeps you safe. Sir, what's your name? Michael. Michael, have you ever heard of the Night Queen flower? Then would you please join me? In India, they call it Raat Ki Rani. It only blooms once a year, and it only lives for a single night. Then it withers, and it dies. So for those few hours, we treat it well. Michael, hold your hand out to the crowd. Now just above the flower, careful not to touch the flower, but very gently, just absorb its essence. And if that essence ever starts to fade, Michael, you must become the flower and maintain that essence where we keep it in our hearts. And we hold it there. When this flower dies, it is dried and ground to an ash, which is used in a ritual that shows a connection between people. My mother said this connection is what keeps us safe from demons. What falls to ash still keeps its shape in ways we cannot always grasp. Now, Michael, do you also have the mark? The marks we share remind us that no matter what is coming our way, we're never truly alone. So, Michael, thank you. That mark did protect me. Till I was about 15 years old, and I stopped believing in Vetalas and fairy tales. But the kalash, the spick pot, stayed in my bedroom. There was something about it. A family heirloom, passed down for generations. When I was 18, I traveled across India to Mumbai to visit my mother's side of the family. My uncle was very sick. And if you've ever been to Mumbai, you know how much of an assault it is on your senses. From the moment I entered the markets, I was hit with the smell of sweet sugar and cinnamon. And the distance, I could hear the jewelry vendors. As I walked, I ran my fingers down bolts of crushed silk. I noticed a small crowd in the distance. There must have been about 20 people. It was a snake charmer. My uncle had already told me that snake charming works because the snake perceives the end of the flute as a threat. It is mesmerized. It will flare and never falter. But it's out of fear. When I pushed to the front of the crowd, it was like something shifted. The snake immediately started ignoring the music and looked directly towards me, where it held my gaze a moment and just slithered away. I look up at the snake charmer and I see panic, maybe, in his eyes. And he says, he said this in Hindi, so I'll do my best to translate. He said, there are only two things that can break the serpent's trance. The first is if it no longer feels the music. And the second is if it sees the devil. He turns to me and says, you have a Vetala, and I can prove it to you. So, sir, what's your name? Craig. Craig, please part the crowd and make your way to the front. Please take a seat, Craig. I am going to show you exactly what that man showed me. But for that, I need to blindfold you. Is that okay? Eyes. Hold this over your eyes and I'll hold it over the back of your head. Is that comfortable?
Yeah.
This won't make sense to you right now, Craig. But in a moment, I'm going to tap you with the end of the flute. Did you feel that? I'll do it again, Craig.
Yeah.
Good, Craig. Just in time for the setting sun. Now, I know you can't see, Craig, but the sun really is shining so brightly between the buildings. I would like you to place your hands out in front of you, Craig, like you're trying to catch the rain. Excellent. Did you feel that just now, Craig? Good. You can place your hands down. This won't make sense to you now, but it'll all make sense in a moment. Now, you will only feel this, but everyone else will see that you indeed have a Vetala, because it's all in the shadow. If you feel anything from this point on, Craig, I'd like you to take your left hand and raise it above your head. Take a deep breath of air in. Good, Craig. Yes, you can place your hand down. Good, you can place your hand down, Craig. The setting sun only lasts for an instant.
I'm going to take your blindfold off, Craig. You feel okay?
Yeah.
This won't make much sense to you, and maybe someone in the crowd can explain it. But those last times, Craig, I did not touch you. I touched your shadow. And then this snake charmer, this soothsayer, he addressed the crowd present. And he said, "This man can feel his shadow. He feels the darkness that follows him." Then he turned to me. "You should leave." So thank you, Craig. And that's exactly how it happened that day. So I did leave the marketplace with a looming sense that something was following me. We'd been in Mumbai for 6 days, and my uncle's sickness got worse. He began seeing things, mixing up names, called me Asim, my father's name. He would wake up at night just screaming with hot sweats. And his speech was just entirely nonsensical. I stayed up with him one night to keep him company, because I believed he was still in there, somewhere. And I didn't want him to feel alone. I was telling him about my day. But the moment I mentioned that snake charmer, it was like someone flipped the lights on. My uncle rose, and for the first time that week, he recognized me. And he spoke to me with absolute clarity. "Kabir, my boy, when you were given your name, I gave your mother a gift. And I think it's time you opened it." That is, word for word, exactly what he said. I tried to ask him a question, but it was too late. His thoughts seemed to fade back into the dark abyss. And I should have tried harder, because the next morning we left Mumbai and made our way home. I asked my mom about the gift, and she pointed me in the direction of that kalash. It had stared at me in my childhood bedroom for years. And I can't believe I'd never thought to open it. So starting at the rim, I cracked the seal open and I removed the crown. The moment that I did, I felt a chill, and each second felt like eternity. I thought my mind must be playing games with me. But Vetalas, my friends, do not play games. because at the same moment I heard something else. A scream. It snapped me from my trance and I ran downstairs. I found my mom hunched over the kitchen table. And she was crying a cry that I've never heard her cry before. She looked at me with tears flooding her face. My uncle had just passed away. I needed to know, why had my uncle used his moment of clarity to lead me here? Inside the kalash, I found a bunch of sand. And inside that sand, I found something else. A strip of parchment. And on it are what I now know to be the Fourth Canon, the 4 laws of the Vetala. Now, they call laws, but really they feel more like instructions. Whether on how to create a Vetala, how to fight a Vetala, or how to destroy one. I don't know. This looks like Hindi, but it's older. And it's a dialect I'm not quite familiar with. So it took me some time to translate these. But with some help, I did. The first Canon calls for enlightenment. And I was enlightened. I now knew what the scripture said. I have spent many moons preparing for this moment, and I have tested the laws all the way till the 4th Canon. But the 4th law, it calls for witnesses. So thank you for joining me this evening. My name is Kabir Singh, and I have a Vetala on my shoulder. The first Canon, enlightenment, is now complete. So we must continue with the second Canon, recognition. During my research, I found a line of scripture written by Eastern mystics over 100 years ago. And they said to recognize your demons in their darkness requires the 4 imbued sigils of the Goan spirit trees. It has since become clear to me that these trees only exist in one location. Near the village I am from, there is a temple. And surrounding that temple are 4 trees, each one unique and vivid in color. The locals have worshipped these trees for centuries. The first one, to the south of the temple, is the Chillati Shakhon ka Vriksh, the tree of screaming branches. Those that pray to this tree are said to be completely cured of their fears and granted peace. To imbue this sigil, I will not ask for it, but I need someone in their mind to focus on a memory of fear. Ma'am, would you please rise where you are? Take this sigil with the inscription side touching your palm. Clasp your fingers around it, and in your mind, think back to a memory where you felt afraid. Allow yourself to be there now. Allow your heart to beat just a bit faster. But only allow it for a moment. Thank you. This sigil is now imbued. The next one, the second tree, is called the broken tree, the Tuta Ped. It is believed that those that worship this tree are completely cured of their physical pain. To imbue this sigil, I need a memory of agony. Sir, all the way to the right, would you please rise? I'd like you to take this sigil with the inscription touching your palm, clasp your fingers around it, and in your mind, think back to a memory of agony. And allow it to play through your mind right now. Where does it hurt? I'd like you to imagine this pain, this fire, this fury, move from your stomach and all the way along your arm until it concentrates at the back of your palm and you feel it burning into the inscription. But only for a moment. Thank you. This sigil is now imbued. The Antahina Suka Ped, the tree of endless tears. It is believed that drinking the water found at this tree's roots does not alleviate one of grief, but it allows them to relive a memory with a loved one that's passed away. To imbue this sigil, I need a memory of grief. Ma'am, would you please rise where you are? Take this sigil with the inscription touching your palm, clasp your fingers around it, and in your mind, think back to a memory of a past loved one. Imagine seeing their face, hearing the sound of their voice, and how good that makes you feel. Thank you. The sigil is now imbued. Finally, Parchai Vriksh, the tree of shadows, is the only tree that ever casts a shadow over the temple. The tallest of the four, its bark produces a noxious haze, forcing those that wish to approach it to close their eyes and look inwards. And those that are able to do so are said to be unburdened of their guilt. To imbue this sigil, sir, I'm not saying you look guilty, but would you please rise where you are? Take this sigil with the inscription touching your palm, clasp your fingers around it, close your eyes, and in your mind, think back to a memory where you felt guilty. Allow it to replay and allow yourself to be there. But only for an instant. Thank you. Don't take your seat just yet, but this sigil is now imbued. Recognition is now complete. We have recognized our demons. It is now time for the third Canon. And the scripture says that this requires a trustworthy Samaritan. Sir, please take the ritual shroud, look out at the crowd and hand it to someone that has not imbued a sigil that looks like they would help a stranger in their hour of need. Go ahead. Thank you. You can take your seat. Hold on to that shroud for me. I'm gonna need some antiseptic. There is a reason that I have traveled here. Along the Silk Road, all the way to Europe. And it's because my journey so far has led me to a small Indian antique shop, very close by, just over on London Road. The man that owns that shop, Rabuk, has been studying Vetala for over 50 years. In all the detailed description of the Kanun rituals written by Eastern mystics all that time ago, they always ended their descriptions of the third Kanun, temptation, with just one word: blood. Nothing else. Rabuk was one of very few who could have showed me what that meant. And if blood makes you feel a bit uneasy, then I'll tell you when to look away. Rabuk told me that in all bloodletting rituals, they always recommend harvesting the blood from the top of the forearm. The skin tends to be thinner and less callous, thus allowing for a quicker healing time. And the veins, they tend to be closer to the surface. This is an Eastern ceremonial needle. And if you wanted to look away, do it now. Off. Blood. And selfishly, I'm hoping if it's my blood, it'll be my Vetala that joins us. First the blood, to law pure evil, and then the sand to hide it. I look towards a spirit tree and release the evil inside it. feel like my Vitala. But whoever's it is, स्वागत है. शुक्रिया यहाँ आने के लिए. It's here. And now that we know there is a force trapped above the sand with us, we must discover whose essence it seeks. If you imbued one of these sigils, please place your left hand towards the sky. Good Samaritan, please bring the ritual shroud to the front, but on your way, touch it to the palms of all those that imbued a sigil. Thank you. Join me here. I'd like you to take that ritual shroud and lay it over the bowl of sand. Perfect. And I'd like you to take these sigils and start rattling them within your hands. When I say so, you're going to scatter them onto the sand. The ones that land with their inscription side touching the sand, facing down, we will remove. The ones that land with the inscription facing the light, we shall continue with until we have one selected. Does that make sense?
That's perfect.
So whenever you're ready, please cast. Would you please remove the ones that have landed face down? The tree of shadows, that's it, and the broken tree. With these two, again. Whenever you're ready. And that leaves us with one, the tree of endless tears. Thank you, Samaritan. To the south of the temple. Ma'am, you imbued this sigil with the story of your grief. What's your name? Lindsay. Lindsay, you have been chosen. Please join me at the front. Lindsay, I'd like you to take one of those ritual vases and start filling it with sand. You can stop whenever you'd like. The Hindu Pandits believed that the design of these vases allows them to trap one's demon within. And the measure of sand one puts in it changes the note of each vase. 1 grain of sand, more or less, changes the pitch of the vase. And a different pitch, Lindsay, invites a different demon. So if you would. That is now your kalash. Hold it tightly. In a moment when you're ready, I would like you to place it on its side in the sand. Perfect. And lay the ritual shroud over this. Lindsay, in a moment you're going to open your kalash. When you do that, I don't know what you will find, because I don't know the memory you imbued the sigil with. But whatever you find, Lindsay, we're all here with you. Okay? So when you're ready, I think it's time you opened it. You can use the incense stick if you'd like. Just be careful not to cut yourself in the shattered pieces. But it looks like there is something for you in the kalash, Lindsay. Do you mind me asking what it says?
It says hospital ice cream soothes pain.
You okay?
Yeah.
You don't have to, but would you mind explaining what that means?
Sue's my mum who passed away in June. And the day before she passed away, I fed her a tub of ice cream.
I am so sorry for your loss. The fact that this showed up in the collage tells me that this moment will have meant just as much for your mother as the memory so clearly means to you.
Yeah.
Now that you've also opened your collage, Lindsay, we're both right here together. That scroll is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think the reason my uncle led me to open that collage was because he understood. He knew that demons kept in darkness grow stronger. With that, we come to the Fourth Canon. This is as far as I've ever made it. Some of you will have noticed small writing underneath the Fourth Canon that hasn't been fully translated. And it's not that it can't be translated, it's because this isn't just language. These are lyrics of an old Indian mantra. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yona Prachodaya. Everyone in India knows this. And very crudely translated, it speaks of basking in a divine light. Now, I already told you, the Night Queen blooms once a year. What I did not tell you is that it only blooms at night. And it blooms a magnificent, striking white, so bright that it reflects all light. And even though the flower itself is tiny, it beats the darkness. So in a moment when the darkness comes, I need everyone in here to focus on a memory. A memory that gives you light. This could be the memory of a small fortune where luck was on your side. Or the memory of a loved one that's passed away. It could even be a more recent memory of just grabbing a meal with friends. A memory of hope. Once you've found this memory, I'd like you to stare intently at the Night Queen. From this point on, I'm not sure what is going to happen. But the Fourth Canon calls for darkness. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yona prachodaya. I don't understand. Let's try again. Please gather your memories and focus intently on the Night Queen. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. It's working! Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Om Shanti Shanti. I don't know if any of you saw that, or if you only just felt it. What I just experienced was the most magnificent light. So much light that I was struggling to grasp it. Do you know what I saw when I looked into that light? I saw a memory. One that I had forgotten I had. I saw myself as a young boy, reliving a moment with my mother. She was seated next to me. She was reading me the story of the Kailash. The story of Babaji. It's made me realize I've been misremembering this story. Because this is not Babaji. This is Ravina, his daughter. When you look at it like that, this Kailash does not tell the story of a brash young man who lost his life in search of adventure. It tells a story of a young girl whose father was lured by a demon he could not control. And it tells a story of the community that helped her survive.
In Hindi, Ravina literally means enveloped by light. And look at her, surrounded by people, surrounded by light. So thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for being my witnesses. What I make of this is that everything will be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, then it's not the end.